Hey guys, this is Matt Brunet, and welcome to Movie News Weekly, hosted by FilmBook. Now, before we begin, let's take a look at what we got in this week's news, which includes the tale as old as time on top, a closer connection to the anime, what to do with Maximus, who might handle Superman, the news that made people go, whoa, the Squad's pen, that failed teleporting machine could be on again, Jennifer the former beauty queen, 2018's dose of water and poison, and Orson's final film will see the light of day. So with that said, let's get things started. People really want to be Disney's guest for this movie. The live-action reboot of Beauty and the Beast has taken the record from Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice for the biggest opening in March with $170 million, where on its opening day alone, it made close to $64 million. This also makes the movie the 7th biggest opening ever behind Captain America: Civil War with $179 million and Iron Man 3 with $174 million. Meanwhile, the other big March movies like Kong Skull Island and Logan have to step down for Disney's spot and grab as much as they can, with Kong earning about $29 million on its second weekend and Logan with around $17.5 million. As for the other new movie this week, The Belko Experiment, despite only appearing in more than 1,300 theaters, it only salvaged about $4 million in 7th place, behind Get Out with more than $13 million, The Shack with more than $6 million, and the Lego Batman movie with less than $5 million. Well, that's certainly one way of making the film more authentic there. For the Japanese dub of the upcoming live-action remake of Ghost in the Shell, the movie will bring back the original voice actors of the 1995 animated feature to reprise their roles. Koichi Yamadera will play as Togusa, Akio Otsuka will be Batou, and Atsuko Tanaka will be performing as Scarlett Johansson's character, which in the anime and in the manga is referred to as Motoko. The three actors have already played these characters on several occasions along with the first movie, including Ghost in the Shell 2: Innocence and Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex. The director of the 1995 film, Mamoru Oshii, stated, "It's been a while since they've played these characters. I definitely want them to deliver performances they see fit. They're all pros, so there's nothing to worry about, and I can only say that this is something to look forward to." Ghost in the Shell will be hitting America on March 31st. Here's something that could entertain your mind. In an interview at South by Southwest to promote Alien Covenant, Ridley Scott is showing interest in creating a sequel to his 2000 hit Gladiator. Scott stated, "I know how to bring him back. I was having this talk with the studio, but he's dead. But there is a way of him bringing him back. Whether it will happen, I don't know. Gladiator was 2000, so Russell Crowe changed a little bit. He's doing something right now, but I'm trying to get him back down here." Back in 2009, a script was crafted by Nick Cave that showed a concept of Gladiator 2 where Russell Crowe's character is on his journey through the afterlife. The first Gladiator film was a great success by not only getting more than $457 million at the box office, but also getting 5 Oscars, including Best Visual Effects, Best Sound, Best Costume Design, Best Actor for Crowe, and Best Picture. Superman does justice, but who can do justice to Superman? Warner Brothers is considering to have Mathieu Vaughn, the director of X-Men First Class, Kingsman: The Secret Service, and Kick-Ass, to take the helm of Man of Steel 2. Currently at the company, Superman is now a top priority to build the character in a way that could satisfy audiences, and if Vaughn does not accept the directing gig, Warner Brothers will still want to have him to work on another DC film. This is actually not the first time that the company came to Vaughn to work on Superman. Back in 2010, he was considered for the first Man of Steel, but he expressed that he wasn't pleased with the tone that it was going for, stating, "I think that the one thing not to do with Superman is trying to do the serious The Dark Knight version. Superman is about color and fun, or it should be for me." A representative at Warner Brothers said that even if they do not have a release date for it yet, this will be released sometime after The Batman. Time to pop out those red pills again. Warner Brothers is now in talks to see if they could create more films for the Matrix franchise. Right now, the company is only brainstorming ideas of the possibilities with what they could do to bring the franchise back to life. There is no confirmation if they either want to reboot it, make another sequel, or have either the original cast or the Wachowski sisters be back on board. The Matrix series has been regarded as largely successful, especially when the first was considered groundbreaking for its innovative use of special effects. With all the three films combined, the trilogy managed to get about $1.8 billion at the box office, with the sequel, The Matrix Reloaded, making $742 million alone, and even got an animated anthology feature called The Animatrix. Recently, Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne reunited in John Wick Chapter 2. From swinging trees to swinging around Gotham, Adam Cozed, the writer of The Legend of Tarzan, is in talks with Warner Brothers in order to work on the script of Suicide Squad 2. The company is putting the project as a top priority since it did win an Oscar for Best Hair and Makeup, and getting $745 million at the box office, and is also currently looking for a director to be attached to the project, with Mel Gibson being considered. The original director and writer of Suicide Squad, David Ayer, will not return for the sequel and will instead be working on another Batman spin-off film, Gotham City Sirens. This will not be the first time Cozed will be working on a script for either an action film or a movie based on a comic. He previously adapted Bloodshot from the Valiant comic book and wrote action films like Underwater, The Gray Man, and Jack Ryan: Shadow Recruit. So, who are you going to replace, Jeff Goldblum? J.D. Dillard, the man behind last year's big Sundance film Slay, is now in talks with Fox in order to remake The Fly. If things go well, Dillard will not only direct the feature, but he will also co-write the project with his writing partner Alex Thurer. This will make it the second remake of the story of a scientist who turns into a mutated fly, with the first being the 1986 horror classic starring Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis, with David Cronenberg as the director. The original came from the 1958 Kurt Newman film that spun off two sequels, including Return of the Fly and Curse of the Fly. Dillard's next movie, Sweetheart, is currently in pre-production, while Slay will be released in theaters on April 28th. Because we all want to have the respect of Jen, Jennifer Aniston is set to star in the teen comedy Dumpling, based on the novel by Julie Murphy. The story is about a teen girl who falls in love with a jock and decides to get her confidence back by entering a beauty pageant while simultaneously gaining the respect of her mom, who was a former beauty queen, which shall be played by Aniston. Originally, back in 2015, Disney got the rights to turn the novel into a movie, but the company later rejected, and it's now going as an independent feature. The movie will be produced by Michael Costigan, the same man who is executive producing the upcoming Ghost in the Shell and previously did Brokeback Mountain. 2018 will certainly end off with a lot more action. Ever since Avatar 2 removed itself from its Christmas 2018 release date, several movies moved to different spots and added themselves for the later 2018 schedule. What was Avatar 2 on December 21st will now be the home of Warner Bros.' Aquaman, which was originally scheduled on October 5th. During that time, Sony decided to step in and put in the Spider-Man spin-off Venom, which will be written by Scott Roseberg and Jeff Pinkner. However, by putting that film there, that means that Sony had to move the sequel to The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, The Girl in the Spider's Web, from October 5th to October 19th, which will have the film directly face off with Warner Bros.' Jungle Book Origins and the movie from Blumhouse, the same studio behind The Purge and Get Out. The work of an artist should never be left unfinished. Netflix managed to get the rights to the unfinished film The Other Side of the Wind and will take on the mission to complete the feature. The movie is said to be the final project to be made by Orson Welles, where he began working on it from 1970 all the way up to his death in 1985. The movie is about a film director who is fighting with Hollywood executives in order to finish his feature. Welles took inspiration from his personal experience in the movie business and have his main character be inspired by his encounter with a drunken Ernest Hemingway. Frank Marshall was a production manager during the time Welles was making it, and will now be working closely with the completion of the film. Ted Sarandos, the CCO of Netflix, stated, "Like so many others who grew up worshipping the craft and vision of Orson Welles, this is a dream come true. With true artistic intention intact is a point and pride for me and for Netflix. Cinephiles and film enthusiasts around the world will experience the magic of Orson Welles once again for the very first time. And that's all I've got for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to head on down to film-book.com for all the latest movie and TV news, along with their columns on the box office and their theatrical release schedule. Also, you can follow them on whatever social media you'd like. And while you're at it, you can follow me on my YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter if you're more into stuff like animation, Disney, and my weird sense of humor. If you were watching this on YouTube, then hit that like button and come subscribe to us, and also leave a little comment on what you think on the news this week. If you were listening to this on a podcast on iTunes or any other podcast service, then don't forget to rate and review what you just heard. Tune in next time for another round of Movie News Weekly, and until next week, see you later, dudes!